Hello, NYWC. I am the administrator of the NYWC message board, Robert Lottie. Friend or Foe 2023. Friend or Foe is an event that has not been done at NYWC since 2008. Very good show. And first time ever NYWC running a show on Memorial Day weekend and managed to draw a good crowd. The action begins with a return bout from Psycho Circus 20 as Mike Mondo, accompanied to the ring by NYWC's founding father, John Curse, took on Dickie Rods. And just as Rods made his way to the ring, well, he was about to enter the ring, Curse had attacked Rods from behind with a chair, and seemed like he was going to be easy pickings, but Rods kicked out at 2. Eventually, the match continued. Somebody accidentally bumped into referee Dylan Perry. Curse tried to use the chair a second time, and I think that didn't. Rods kicked out again. Curse tried the third time, but it wasn't the charm as he accidentally hit Mondo. Rods ended up pinning Mondo to win the match, and as a result of pre-match stipulation, Rods would get his hands on Curse, as Curse had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And a referee, James McGrady, and another referee, I forgot his name, they made sure that they prevented Curse from leaving the ringside area, and Rods eventually grabs a hold of Curse, puts him in the sharpshooter, and Curse is tapping out, but officially it wasn't a match until McGrady and the other referee, they pulled Rods off. Next up, we saw Fifth Chorus, who had 2 groovy grizzlies on like dog leashes, it seems, and they're walking on all fours, as he defended the Starlet Championship against the debuting Little Mean Kathleen. And, wow. At one point, Kathleen came out to the ring, and she and the Grizzlies, or as Fisk was called them, his bears, were like dancing out on the floor. At one point, Fisk is wanting the Bears or the Grizzlies to try to get both of them to come in the ring. I don't know if they were giving him a hard time or what the problem was. And I forget how, but Little Mean Kathleen pinned Fifth Chorus to become the new NYWC Starlet Champion. After the match was over, Fifth Chorus took out his aggressions on the both Groovy Grizzlies, or Party Bears, Party Pandas. I don't know. I mean, with this title change, I don't know if this means Fifth Chorus is not going to be available for be at the next show, or what the deal is with him. And Little Mean Kathleen, I don't know, she's the first person to win a championship in their debut. Next match, we saw Bad Brad Benson challenge Dan Barry for the Fusion Championship. Good match these guys had. Brad tried to use the Fusion Championship belt, but Alvin Alvarez came out to prevent that from happening. Dan Barry eventually defeats Bad Brad Benson to retain the Fusion Championship. And Brad was furious, attacked Barry from behind. I'm probably messing up here, folks. This is the day after the show. I think the referee stopped Brad from using the Fusion title belt, but Alvin eventually, got involved, and I don't know where this could lead to. It could be maybe a triple threat match, or Alvin against Bad Brad one-on-one. But Dan Barry's still the Fusion champion. Next matchup, we saw a tag team match, as we saw Vinny Talata and Miami Mike post-game, as they took on Jay Macias and Pat Fitzpatrick, QGTM, Queens Gets the Money. I enjoyed this matchup quite not intensely, but I enjoyed it. QGTM ended up defeating post-game to pick up the victory. The fifth matchup, we saw Nico Gray take on Christian Nunez. not too long of a match here, and by the way, I failed to time the matches for this show, folks. Christian Nunez defeated Nico Gray by submission. I don't know what Christian calls that submission hold, but it's like a half Nelson with a chicken wing. I can't help it. It's, for some reason, I think of the Taz mission, which Taz's own son, Hook, calls Red Rum. I don't know if Christian has a name for that submission or not. Next up, we see Satanta Fury and Fighting Jack Morrissey, the Shillelagh Hitmen, as they challenge Gerard Stevens and Giorgio Lawrence, the specialists for the Tag Team Championship. The Hitmen had their things going their way, but then out from the curtain, we see Unstoppable Izzy McKenna down on the ramp, and the Audacity is standing over her. The Hitmen were distracted long enough to the point where the specialists took advantage, and the specialists defeated the Shillelagh Hitmen to retain the Tag Team Championship. Okay, at that point, they went to intermission. They come back, and I was hoping to buy that blue NYWC t-shirt, but they didn't have my size. Ugh, my eyes hurt. Okay, but the action, before the action resumed, the Big O comes out and talks about the recently departed Gregory Glass Jr., who had passed away, I believe, a day or two after Master of the Mat, and asked the crowd for a moment of silence. And we had that. Then we get the rest of the show resumed as we see tag team action as Jorge La Bestia and his servant Jordan Reddington take on JT Kaysen and the Big Gun Nuke. Eventually, I can't remember exactly how it ended, but JT Kaysen and Nuke, well, actually, I do remember. Reddington pulled a kendo stick out from underneath the ring. He was going to use it on Kaysen or Nuke, but Jorge stopped, grabbed the stick, and prevented Reddington from using it. And eventually, Reddington got pinned, enabling JT Kaysen and Nuke to defeat Jordan Reddington and Jorge La Bestia. And after the match, Reddington was livid, and he got the microphone from ring announcer Justin Gentile, and he says, last year I was in Psycho Circus, I was in Cuffed and Cage, I was in more hardcore matches than anybody in the company, and he said, you made us go into the, tells Jorge, you made us go into the Heart and Soul Cup tournament, and last month we were on opposite teams, and I really don't pay attention to every bit and piece of these promos, folks. But to cut to the chase, Jordan challenged Jorge to a street fight next month, and if Jordan wins, he will no longer be Jorge's servant. For those who haven't been keeping up, Jordan lost to Jorge back at Psycho Circus, where the loser had become the winner's servant, and Jordan's been Jorge's servant ever since. Next up, in a singles match, we see A1G as he took on the returning Aiden Bale. Aiden Bale ended up defeating A1G with the double underhook powerbomb, or as I commonly remember Ahmed Johnson using it, he called it the Pearl River Plunge. Ugh, my head. Alright, then we see the finals of the Crusher, Dugan, Hart, and Soul Cup Tag Team Tournament as Seth and Micah Cortez, the Audacity, took on Tommy Rant and Sage Chance, the Slime Balls. Good matchup here. Eventually, the Shillelagh Hitmen come out, and the Audacity were distracted long enough to the point where the Slime Balls eventually defeat the Audacity to win the match and ultimately win the Crusher, Dugan, Hart, and Soul Cup. And Justin Gentile announced the Slime Balls as the new #1 contenders in the Tag Team Championship, and out come the Specialists holding the belts up high and pretty much, making it official that the Specialists are defending the tag titles against the Slime Balls at the next show. Okay, the next matchup we see Flip Gordon taking on Nobody's Better Michael Mastretta. During the match, Flip really had things going his way, but then out comes a young woman, and Flip got distracted, and Mistretta capitalized on the distraction and defeated Flip Gordon to win the match. So it looks to me, apparently, the hand now has a woman in the group. They haven't given her, I don't know if they didn't really give her a name, or Mistretta didn't announce to the crowd who she is. But obviously, I take it she's been training out of the academy. All right. And then it was time for the right before the main event, out comes Commissioner Keith O'Ringer, announces the stipulations for the match, which he announced in a video previously, that if Sal Savelli gets pinned, he loses his Joker's wild card, and if Big O gets pinned by Papa Don or Conway, the person who gets the pinfall on Big O would get a title shot at the next show. Well, I guess it was living up to the name Friend or Foe, because at one point Papa Don and Conway were arguing, O and Savelli were arguing. Papa Don at one point hits O from behind with the championship belt. Savelli eventually goes after Papa Don. He has the belt in his hand. O turns around. He thinks Savelli hit him with the belt. Eventually, the end came when Conway schoolboyed Big O and pinned him, enabling Conway and Papa Don to win the match over the Big O and Salvatore Savelli, in which, as a result of the pre-match stipulation, Joey Conway will challenge the Big O for the championship at the next show. And at the end of the night, O and Savelli are arguing, and O was daring Conway, hey, let's go right now, and it didn't happen, and Savelli says he'll be the next NYWC champion. Well, personal notes, great seeing fellow NYWCites Jessica, Leanne, Sam, Jameson, Tommy. Nice meeting his girlfriend Robin, who saw NYWC for the first time. Great talking with Chris Perry. Great seeing Dylan, James McGrady, Oliver, Chris, his father Sal. Who else can I think of here? Aaron, Charles. Yeah, I can't remember who else I saw. Hungry. Okay, crapola. Oh, I forget, James and Brianna. Oh, Claire, welcome back to her. By the way, there was a DJ playing music before the show. I don't know if he was the one playing the wrestlers' music during the show, or they had their own sound system doing it. Forgot the DJ, forgot his name, all apologies. During intermission, they were playing the Macarena of all things, and boy, was Jessica doing it all wrong. After the show had ended, the ladies and I went to 1683 on Sunrise Highway in West Islip, and we tried to do the video there, but unfortunately, for some reason, I had paused the video, but it somehow went to stop, and I didn't want to have to start over again. And as good as the food is, and it's just like a small place. It's smaller than BK Grasso's. I miss that place. I mean, a lot of the many on the show showed up. Well, great seeing Mike Norman. Dang, who else do we have here that I can think of? I mean, Jessica wanted to sing a song and put in a song for karaoke, but my uncle, who was driving us home, he didn't want to stay too long, and he's not a drinker, and I was just, I mean, my uncle and I, we were ready to, we didn't want to lose it, because it wouldn't have been cool to get out of line. Because at one point, like, we wondering where Jessica went, and even my Uncle Sammy, where is she? And I'm thinking, and I say to Leanne, who was right next, I said, go see if she's in the woman's bathroom. And she found her over by the bar because she had like left her card. Because I think Jessica had more than one drink in her, and it's safe to say we're going to think twice before we come back to the after party. All right, nice place and all. The food was good. But on the subject of food, it's a good thing we went to eat somewhere before the show. Why, you ask? Because that Lucky Penny food truck, they wanted $6, charging $6. Saw their price list. $6 for a cheeseburger, $3 for a soda. That Lucky Penny food truck can scratch and sniff my balls for that money. All right, now, before I get into the next show, there's some questions I failed to ask during the Master of the Mat recap last month, all right? Is Master of the Mat, being that's the biggest show for the springtime, biggest show of the spring for NYWC, is that going to be done in April from now on? Another question is regarding Master of the Mat match over the years. The heavyweight title's been defended, the fusion title's been defended, the Starlet title's been defended. Was there any reason why we have not had a tag team Master of the Mat match yet? That has yet to be done, NYWC. That'd be great. And also, and we know it's early regarding who will be inducted into the Hall of Fame later this year, but I've noticed one thing regarding the Hall of Fame. Well, I've noticed, and probably everybody knows this, we have yet to have, not one woman has been inducted yet. I don't know if you're considering it, NYWC, to have a woman inducted. The only person I know of right now you could put in, Marty Bell. She made it to Impact Wrestling. She was in the Mae Young Classic. Not sure. She was in NWA Power for a time. Not sure she's still there. And of course, she came out of Gleason's Gym, which Johnny Rods owns in Brooklyn. Alrighty. Now, the New York Wrestling Connection presents a double dose of action in the month of June. On Friday night, June 9th, they're going to be having a fundraiser at a high school in Port Jefferson, and all apologies, I forgot the name of the high school, but the show is titled The Warriors. And none of us are going to be able to go to that because Friday night shows are hard for me to make. But they return home to the NYWC Sportatorium on Saturday night, June 17th, as they present Rocky Balboa's favorite show title, Going the Distance. Already announced for this one. Jorge La Bestia takes on Jordan Reddington in a street fight where if Jordan wins, he will get his freedom back. The Specialists defend the Tag Team Championship against the Slime Balls. The Big O defends the Heavyweight Championship against the cause of it all, Joey Conway. Now, based on the fact Conway got the pinfall, I wonder where does the Greek God Papa Don and the Commissioner Keith O'Ringer seem to go from here? Because I think O'Ringer was confident Papa Don was going to end up getting the title shot in June. All right. Now matches I would like to see. This one may end up happening. The Shillelagh Hitmen against the Audacity. Maybe either Dan Barry defend the Fusion title in a triple threat match against Alvin Alvarez and Bad Brad Benson, or maybe Bad Brad Benson one-on-one with Alvin Alvarez. I'm sure Little Mean Kathleen will make her first defense of the Starlet Championship. No, I don't know if the social acceptance faction is still a thing, considering Dolly was in attendance, but not on the show. Shadow was not there. Taylor was not there. Aiden Bale just returned after missing Master of the Mat. Izzy McKenna didn't have a match. I don't know if that group is still together or it's quietly disbanded or not. For the first time ever, I'm finally wearing my own T-shirt. The I'm a Robert Lottie guy T-shirt. Special thanks again to the Dirty Deeds. Dirk Moore was in attendance, but I did not see Beardville and Johnny Malloy. Beardville and Johnny Malloy was not there. Again, Dirk, I hope you'll be back in the ring soon. Oh boy. And also, for the first time in years, I brought back the Shawn Michaels hat, but while I had it on, it made me realize why I stopped wearing it for a time. I mean, I was hoping to wear it for Master of the Mat, but I couldn't find it that day. Let me see here. Well, yeah, again, it's a bummer we didn't get to finish the video at the after party. I'm not going to mention who was there, but let me see. I know a good portion of the show was there. Let's see. Yeah, a good portion of the show had shown up. Shane, great seeing you, of course. Mentioned Mike Norman already. Joe Bernard, I noticed, was at the show. Oh, funny thing, that young man who sang the Smashing Pumpkins' "Bullet with Butterfly Wings" during the karaoke. Forgot his name. He was surprised to hear he was born he told me he was born when I asked how long I would go to the shows, and I told him my first show was 2004. That turned out to be the year the young man was born. If that wasn't enough, I asked him for his birthday. He said December 12th, and so he's a fellow Sagittarius, because my birthday is December 19th, same as my late father. And the funny thing is, the day he was born, which was, as he said, December 12th, 2004, which means he's currently 18 going on 19 years old. He was born the day after the NYWC show, which Joey Matthews won the heavyweight championship. So ain't that something, folks? Unfortunately, one thing I can tell you regarding going the distance on June 17th is that Sam, Tommy, and Jameson will not be there because June 17th happens to be Sam's birthday, and I guess, I don't know if his mom's got a birthday party planned for him or something, but Sam, Tommy, and Jameson will not be there for going the distance on June 17th, but safe to say Leanne and Jessica will be there with me for that show. Wish I could get some other people to come. Both Leanne and Jessica tried on my Shawn Michaels hat. Yeah, WWF logo and all. And, but, the hat's too big for both of their heads. Yay. Great seeing, Justin Gentile, great seeing you, man. Wow. and I don't know, there's just so many ways they can go here. I mean, I don't know who Michael Mostretta's facing next show. I guess, making making tag teams. JT Kaysen and Duke have been teaming last few shows. I guess it's a nice way to squeeze people onto shows. I mean, we had 11 matches, by the way, for this event. Ugh. Ugh. I mean, I know, as I already said earlier in the video, I'm gonna think twice about going back to the after parties. But I mean, it would be nice to go back there someday. But I don't know, guys. I don't know, folks. I don't think it can happen. At least not next show. It won't happen. Okay, so this was very good. This event. Hope you enjoyed this. I was let down. I couldn't do it with the ladies at the after party. We couldn't finish the video. But NYWC rules. NYWC. 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 NYWC.